Hello there, it is Sarah. Today I'm going to be talking with my little dog, Mr. Chewy. I'm going to be, oh gosh, he's in my lap, so we'll see how well I can talk. But I'm going to be talking about why I'm no longer vegan, why I no longer support the movement, my thoughts on the long-term health consequences of being long-term vegan, my thoughts on having been raw vegan and having lived at Kanakiki Farm in Hawaii, and where I stand on veganism now. So let's start off as to how I got into being plant-based. So I was plant-based, like nearly 100% plant-based for approximately 4 years. I decided to go plant-based after I read the book Medical Medium by Mr. Anthony William, if you're familiar with the name. I would say that he is a pretty popular gateway drug into veganism because his books pretty much preach a plant-based diet for healing. I found his book because I was really sick for about 2 years with candida issues. I've had IBS-C my entire life, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first went plant-based, and eventually vegan, but specifically plant-based and mostly raw, it legitimately healed my IBS-C for a good year and a half, maybe even longer. The issue with it is that in the middle of, when I began being vegan, I was in the middle of a very bad eating disorder, a very bad struggle with anorexia and really orthorexia, because I feel like I've had atypical anorexia for a long time. I mean, I'm recovered now. Well, I'll get into that later. But, going vegan was a really easy way to mask my eating disorder and to heal my digestion, which I will admit it did work for a while at least. And I don't know, it just kind of like based on your like childhood conditioning, like we're always taught like plants are good, like too much fat is bad. I should mention that before I was vegan, I was keto. And when I was keto, I would also say that was kind of an extension of my eating disorder. I now have different thoughts on the keto diet. I'm not against it per se, but I will say that the way that I was doing keto, which was like low quality animal foods, and honestly just like lazy keto, and honestly a lot of Halo Top, disgusting. It made me really sick. So, and it actually that's what caused my candida overgrowth, I think. Maybe it was other factors, or not maybe, it was definitely other factors at hand too, but I do think that being on a low quality keto diet was really bad for my candida. So anyways, basically how I feel about veganism now, I did link some videos in the description as to what were little sort of like trigger points why I stopped being vegan, which has been almost a year since I quit being vegan. I ate my first piece of meat in March 2021, and before I ate the meat, I was eating some dairy, like I think some cream, clotted cream for some reason I was craving, so random. But yeah, my body was just craving animal foods, and I just found some information regarding eating disorder recovery and how veganism is really not good for that. And I don't know, I just followed my instincts, and here I am today just eating honestly whatever I want. I mentioned I'm recovered from my eating disorder. I'm not going to go really deep into this video. I'm more going to talk about veganism and why I don't support it. So like I mentioned, I got into being vegan because of Anthony William, Medical Medium, and that led eventually to raw veganism, right? And once you get into raw veganism, you probably get into it because you're into either Anthony William or Dr. Morse, maybe Dr. Sebi. But honestly, I personally think these people are plants. When I say plants, I should clarify implants, as in like they're giving you, I would say, just some faulty information that we assume is to be healing, when the reality is this is not sustainable at all. So I will say that I completely support veganism as a cleanse. If you're doing it for, I'd say like up to a month, maybe a little longer, honestly. I'm also not here to talk any trash on Kanakiki, which is now defunct. Like they're no longer an organization or a business or a farm. So I'm not here to talk any trash on them. I overall had a really good experience there. I did have some issues there, which I'm going to get into in this video, but honestly, like I do think that cleansing with a vegan, specifically a raw vegan diet, can be really helpful, especially if you've been through any amount of trauma. Oh my gosh, he's just leaning on me. If you've been through any amount of trauma, like, oh my gosh, I have to admit to you, like, it can be helpful. But you know what else is helpful? Grounding down, stabilizing yourself, getting in some healthy animal fats, like high quality animal fats, like grass finished, raw milk, that type of thing. I mean, that's overall going to be healthier for you than being on this super restrictive extension of an eating disorder, which is really how I see a vegan diet now. I just see so many people who have had past eating disorders who are drawn to being vegan, and they kind of like disfigure their disorders into their new lifestyle, which they, you know, the ethics are attached to it. But let's just be clear here. And by the way, I am still wearing a Miami fruit jacket. I got this before I went non-ex-vegan, right? I bought this when I was still vegan, or like I said, plant-based. Honestly, for the 4 years that I was vegan, I actually only subscribed to the essence, the true philosophy of veganism for maybe like a year and a half. I was always kind of wary of the idea of only plants ever, because honestly, I don't know, like I think scallops are really healthy. I think scallops are basically not animals. I just think it's such an extreme philosophy to take that you wouldn't eat animals. And now that I'm seeing it for what it was, and all the different variations of veganism that I did, which included everything from raw vegan, cleansing, to junk food vegan, to, I don't know, like I would say just high carb, low fat, cooked, like just like all the different variations of it. Honestly, it's just such an extreme diet to try, and you're depriving your body of so many nutrients and just so much life. You know, you can only go to vegan restaurants. You can only go to places that are vegan friendly, right? Like you're just like restricting yourself from fully living your life. And that's exactly what eating disorders do. And just remember that your eating disorder, as much as you want to claim that you care about the animals, which honestly, I care about the animals too. Like I don't support factory farming. Do I ever eat foods that are from factory farms? Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'll buy convenience, like frozen stuff from Trader Joe's or whatever. But like, honestly, I would say 90% of the time I'm buying all my meat from the farmer's market. Or like, actually, I pretty much only buy my meat from the farmer's market. I only ever eat non-farmer's market food if I like am in a pinch, you know? So like I said, I still care about the animals. And I mean, obviously it sucks that they have to die. Like I like cows, you know, I love pigs. There's a lot of animals I really love. I completely understand where vegans are at with wanting to protect the animals. But like you're literally disrupting the circle of life by acting like we're above eating animals, because we're not. We are animals ourselves. And you realize that other carnivores, I'm not saying we're carnivores, by the way, just to be clear here, carnivores like mountain lions and grizzly bears and everything of that nature, they have to kill other animals to survive, you know? Like I said, like eating other animals is part of the circle of life. And you're on an experimental diet as a vegan. If you are a vegan mother, vegan father, and you're feeding your children a vegan diet, you are literally experimenting on your kids. There's a lot of people who have made content about this, so I'm not going to go too deep into this right now, but all you're doing is extending your disordered relationship with food to your kids. And for the record, I'm not against vegan food, like as just like, you know, a snack, literally, because that's what it is. It's a snack. Maybe as a meal if you're at some bomb vegan restaurant. I'm not against vegan restaurants. Like honestly, I don't really eat that much fish because I don't trust most fish from sushi places. So I'm all about vegan sushi. Heck yeah, you know? I'm not against fish, by the way. It's just like I don't trust most of the fish that most restaurants are gonna serve, because I've had some recently and I'm like, this is nasty. This tastes like some nasty, rancid, horribly raised crab. I don't want to eat this, you know, or if it's like fake even and they tell you it's real. Anyways, okay, tangent over. Yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys how I overall feel about veganism. I have to be honest with you, when I was at Kanekiki, I would say at least 80, if not more than that, percent of the people there had eating disorders, myself included. And don't listen to anyone on the internet like Freely or any of these high carb, low fat people who tell you you're going to cure your eating disorder by eating high carb, low fat. You're not. Like, you're literally depriving your body of essential nutrients. You're creating restrictions around food, which is what eating disorders do, right? And like I said, at this raw vegan place, like there were a couple girls who were straight up ano. There were quite a few girls who were previously ano, so like they had some weight on them and they thought they'd healed, but no, they didn't. They weren't healing at all. People were really into water fasting, aka starvation. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny because that's really what it is. And then myself, I had been following Medical Medium and in combination with Freely for the previous year and a half. And so like I wasn't anorexic, but I was super orthorexic, like very obsessed with my weight, even though I wasn't skinny as I was when I was fully ano, and I was miserable because I wasn't skinny, and I was just thinking, oh, it'll come off, right? It'll come off. Yeah, like, I mean, even if it comes off, all you're doing with your vegan diet long term is you're malnourishing yourself, okay? So honestly, I'm not here to give you like a secret to weight loss. I will say that I'm so happy I recovered from my ED because, I mean, it's not like I'm 100% perfect, or maybe you could argue 100% recovered, because I personally think I am. I haven't weighed myself in 2 years. And my weight, I do notice just based on how my clothing fits and how my stomach looks, also because I have IBS with bloating. I fluctuate, you know, and it's normal. That's completely normal. And I'm overall pretty happy with how I look. Like I said, nothing is perfect, but I'm just like I'm no longer a slave to food. I just eat when I'm hungry and I eat what I want, you know? And I feel nourished. Like I don't think about food constantly. Like when I was junk food vegan, I was so obsessed with food because I was so hungry. I was craving like breakfast burritos, but I wouldn't allow myself a real breakfast burrito. You're allowed a vegan breakfast burrito with some scary Frankenfood vegan cheese, Frankenfood vegan sausages. I mean, some of this stuff isn't as bad as other brands. Like there's some that are really bad. Like there's a whole spectrum, right? But like honestly, all you're doing with veganism is you're tricking your body into thinking that you're eating the foods that you're really craving, the animal-based foods, because there's a time for cleansing, but again, you can't do it for that long, because look at how sick some of these long-term raw vegans look. They don't look well, and a lot of them have major colon problems. So just please listen to your body. Don't listen to the mental confusion that vegan indoctrination has given you, okay? And if you're really concerned about eating a high nutrient, ethical diet, I mean, go to the farmer's market if you have availability to one. Go to the local butcher, you know? Like there are ways around purchasing factory farmed food. It's just like veganism literally like perverts an idea, which is, hey, like, you know, factory farmed food is evil, which I agree with. It is evil. But you know what else is evil? Being anti-human and malnourishing yourself, malnourishing your kids, and gaslighting others who are eating their natural diets, because veganism is an experiment. It's not your natural diet. And there's no convincing me otherwise, because have there been any human tribes in the history of humanity that have been vegan? No. No. So, basically what I'm saying is that it's an extension of your eating disorder, and I'm not saying it can't be helpful for a certain phase, okay? Like I said, it really helped me for a while, and even with my eating disorder recovery, it actually helped for a while. So wherever you're at, I support you, like assuming that you're trying to get healthy if you have an eating disorder. But just remember that veganism is not a natural diet, and it still is disordered. Peace, love, and have a nice day. Bye.